I'm Douglas Christensen, Channel X News. In area news impacting us this Friday morning, February 10th, 2017, a Houlton man will be sentenced today for a double 2013 murder in southern Aroostook County. In December of last year, Matthew Davis was found guilty of killing 49-year-old Heidi Pratt and 51-year-old Michael Kitchen in their Oakfield home. No motive for the killing was ever entered into evidence, but some law enforcement personnel believe it was drug-related. Davis was also found guilty of motor vehicle theft and arson, while the trial was conducted in Machias after Justice Alan Hunter of Caribou was unable to impanel a jury in Aroostook County. Today's sentencing will be in Houlton. An Emera, Maine vehicle was stolen just north of Houlton yesterday. State police received a report of a stolen 2014 Polaris side-by-side utility vehicle. The vehicle owned by the utility was taken from their job site on the Station Road in Littleton. Emera employees followed the tracks, located the vehicle on the Shanks Road a short distance away, packed at a snowplow turnaround. The Rangers' Chemoblast tracks were removed and stolen. Authorities believe the theft occurred between 3 p.m. Wednesday afternoon and 9:30 yesterday morning. Anyone with any information about this theft urged to call the State Police Barracks in Houlton at 532-5400. Ask for Trooper Jared Silva. Houlton and surrounding areas will be disconnecting from Emera, Maine, and looking to New Brunswick for their juice. The municipality received final approval for making the transition, which is expected to go into effect in 2019. The plan will see people in Houlton, Ludlow, Hodgdon, New Limerick, and Linneus unplugged from Emera, Maine, and plugged into NB Power. John Clark, the general manager of the Houlton Water Company, said they started the process of switching to NB Power 4 years ago. But it wasn't until 2015 that the plan really started to come together. The cost for the infrastructure that needs to be built on the Canadian side is $6.9 million. Another $350,000 will be needed to be spent in Maine. Despite the price tag, the staff at Houlton Water Company says the switch will be cost-effective for consumers. Right now, NB Power is in the process of obtaining the necessary permits to begin building the transmission line from Woodstock to the border. Local organizations and businesses are teaming up to fill a 3-week summer feeding gap in Presque Isle. Presque Isle's school district feeding program ends when the high school goes back into session. According to USDA guidelines, they are not allowed to run 2 separate feeding programs at the same time, which leaves some elementary and middle school students at risk of not having anything to eat. They do not need to return to school for another 3 weeks. Channel X Radio talked with Sherry Locke, the executive director of the United Way of Aroostook, and asked her about the coalition and how it's going to work.
It's a collaboration between the United Way of Aroostook, TAMIC, the City of Presque Isle, and the Presque Isle Housing Authority. It's really simple. We've reached out to the community now to ask for community support, which can come in way of monetary donations, donations of food, or volunteer hours, because we will need lots of volunteers to make this happen. So the United Way is kind of working as the conductor of this to make sure that we get all of that, the needs taken care of. And then when August comes, we'll work together again as a team to get the food out to those children during that 20-day gap period.
Food will be collected and assembled through the Presque Isle Recreation Department and handed out using TAMIC's WOW wagon. Locke said this exemplifies their motto of living united. When our community sees a problem, they find a way to solve it. Northeast Publishing in Presque Isle was among 150,000 sites around the world that experienced a hack on one of its printers. The trail of the cyber hacking was traced back to a high school student in the United Kingdom who goes online by the name of Stack Overflowing. In an interview with the technology publication Bleeper Computer, The hacker said his intentions were benign. According to the Bangor Daily News, the hacker said he wanted to raise everyone's awareness toward the dangers of leaving printers exposed online without a firewall or other security settings enabled. Andrew Burden, the general manager of Northeast Publishing, said the incident was something of a wake-up call and prompted the addition of new security features. Burden said, "I'm just glad this intrusion was kind of benign. It's amazing that such a simple effort could have such far-reaching impact." Northeast Publishing owns the Presque Isle Star-Herald, the Aroostook Republican, the Holton Pioneer-Times, the St. John Valley Times, and Fiddlehead Focus. A 67-year-old Baroni, New Brunswick man has been sentenced to 2 years in prison. Jean-Claude Willette appeared in Woodstock Provincial Court Wednesday, received a 2-year prison sentence following a guilty verdict on 7 charges, including trafficking in cocaine and cannabis, possession of illegal tobacco, and unsafe storage of firearms. He was also ordered to submit a DNA sample, is facing more than $1,600 in fines, and is prohibited from owning firearms for 10 years. Willette was arrested last Sunday following an investigation that began in 2015 and was aimed at disrupting a criminal network supplying large quantities of illegal drugs in the Nacawick area east of Woodstock. A Lewiston man has pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the suffocation death of his infant son. 26-year-old Danny Adams will remain jailed until his sentencing, which is set for March 24th. Attorneys failed to reach an agreement on a possible sentence. Police said Adams forced a pacifier into the mouth of his 14-week-old son, Zaid, and then held it in place back in December 2014 to keep him from crying. Police say Adams told officers he had been using heroin and marijuana the night before. The boy was pronounced dead at the scene. Officials say the cause of death was asphyxiation. RCMP say a man was arrested in connection with vandalism to the monuments honoring fallen firefighters and police officers over in Moncton. It's alleged that red paint was sprayed onto the International Association of Firefighters Memorial as well as the Moncton Police Force Memorial in Victoria Park late last month. Police say information from the public helped them identify the suspect, make the arrest. A 54-year-old man with no fixed address is scheduled to appear in court today to face charges in the incident. Finally, in the news this hour, the Canadian dollar is worth 76.09 cents U.S. this morning. That is unchanged from yesterday morning at this time. The loonie is now 1 2/3 cents higher than it was at the beginning of the year. The U.S. dollar pegged at $1.31.42 Canadian. You've just been uploaded on the X.